We're walking down the hill to meet the bus that will take us on a Chernobyl tour today. And this guy here is running, which is what I should be doing, but I'm not because I'm on vacation. Maybe I will. I have my running shoes on, but yeah, I need to do that. In a few minutes we get on this bus and it takes us to that place. And it should be an experience. I've talked to a few people that have been there on this trip, and hopefully I come away with something more than just some pictures. Our tour has just arrived at the exterior border of the exclusion zone. Those signs say don't come in here unless you have permission. So we're just at the beginning of the area that is protected and guarded around the Chernobyl site. If I correctly understood the guide, each one of these signposts recognizes a village that was evacuated after the Chernobyl disaster. So I can't count them all, but there's quite a few lined up here. Behind me is the city of Chernobyl, which is actually inhabited by the people that work in this area. There's a major construction project, and I think there's a lot of administrative and scientific people here, so they all live in this town. And the guide said the radiation here is about the same as it is in Kiev. Behind me is a massive radar antenna that the Soviets built to try to keep track of American missile launches. I guess this place was forbidden even 25 years after the thing was shut down, and only like within the last 2 years they've let tourists come see this place. Here's a slightly better view of this massive antenna array, and I looked at my compass and it's pointed straight towards Alaska maybe, and we had one I know in Alaska that was pointed back here. So this is what the Soviets were using to make sure that we weren't launching missiles at them, and now it's abandoned. It looks cool. I'm now in an abandoned kindergarten that is only about 3 kilometers from the power plant, and we just saw one of the first radiation hotspots, which is still not outrageous, but more than normal right outside. Our guide also told us that this is the only remaining building in this village. There were other houses, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred or dozen people that lived here, and this is the kindergarten, but everything else was completely bulldozed and covered over with soil, so you can't find the remains of anything else but this kindergarten, which is still here today. Behind me in the rain is the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, and yeah, this is where all the trouble started. So this structure right there is the reactor that failed, and that cobbled looking thing around it is the original containment vessel, and right in front of me is the new one they're building. So the thing we just saw was made in 1986, and the thing behind me, which is still being finished now, it's 2016, is the new containment vessel. And this thing is going to be slid on rails that direction to cover up the original sarcophagus and reactor. This sign is kind of famous and iconic. It marks the city of Pripyat, which is the famous abandoned city in the Ukraine. It had 43,000 people living in it, and it was evacuated, I think, 2 or 3 days after the accident. But this is the sign that marks the entrance. Behind me is perhaps one of the most iconic structures from the entire Chernobyl zone. This is the amusement park. I feel like there's plenty to see here and maybe not enough to say. I don't know. This city is kind of eerie because there's buildings taller than the buildings in our city, and they're just completely empty. And it's kind of an eerie, weird place. I am now at the football stadium, and this had to have been built after 1970. If you think about football stadiums in the United States, a lot of them were probably built around that time or earlier. A lot of high school stadiums are older than that, and this one is in pretty bad repair. At one time, a long time ago, I did a triathlon. I needed to do some training. I don't think I'm going to start again here today. I'm sure the school was very modern when it was being used because it was only a few years old, but now you can see it's completely abandoned and in ruin. There's water dripping through the ceiling everywhere. I wanted to get up on the roof to try to get a bit more of a view of the city. You can see all around me there's tall, probably 8, 10, 12-story apartment buildings. This one back here is rather big. I haven't counted the flights, but it's a big place. There was a lot of people here. It's been raining all day long, but it's starting to rain harder out here. I think I've got the pictures I need from the roof, so I think I'm gonna go back inside. This is quite creepy behind me. I see a big pile of gas masks and canisters for the gas masks. And I don't know if that was related to the power plant or it's just here because of some fear about war in general. But it's pretty eerie to see all of these gas masks and canisters sitting around in what I assume is a high school or some kind of, it's a pretty good school. I mean, pretty good sized school, so I assume it's a high school. That's the third floor roof where I was a little bit earlier. I've come down to the second floor and the building is a lot flatter, so I'm just seeing if there's any views here that I didn't have up there. It's a pretty unique opportunity to be able to be up here because I can promise you that in the United States you would not be allowed to walk around a decaying building for mainly personal safety reasons. And here we are walking through an abandoned high school on many levels with unguarded roofs. It's pretty cool. Our last tour stop is the Cafe Pripyat and the river. Let's see if I can get it in focus. Well, it's right out the window there. And we're gonna go have lunch, but not here, in the city of Chernobyl.